As most of my subscribers know, I am from Northeast Kentucky, and if you saw the news last week, Northeast Kentucky got hammered with a terrible winter storm. Ice, it was bad. And because of that, we had no electric, no water for a period of time, therefore no video. I do like to try to get a video out at least once a week. It doesn't always happen. This is one of the cases that it did not happen. But we are back. We're back today in Indiana. I have been to a lot of cemeteries over the years. On my channel, I've made several videos. As you know, my channel is all cemetery related. I'm going to show you something today that I have never seen in a cemetery before. Lova Klein and Vivian Allison are two names you've probably never heard of. But today's video is going to be a watch along. I'm going to watch this with you. But it amazes me how even in death, a grieving parent will still try to do everything they can to take care of their child. Today we are in Indiana, visiting the graves of Lova Klein and Vivian Allison. You know, when it comes to history, and I'm talking about history of people who are not necessarily famous, a lot of facts can be left up to interpretation. And to me, the way I interpreted this story, this is a love story. Not necessarily, or definitely not a love story in the traditional sense, like a fairy tale or something like that, but perhaps the greatest bond of all, and that's between parent and child. We're going to begin our tour today at Arlington East Hill Cemetery. This is part of my Indiana tour that I have done. We're going to be visiting the grave of Lova Klein. Lova Klein was a young child who passed away, and she had a severe neurological illness, and it was said that Lova couldn't move without help. She couldn't function. Her only joy was to look upon a dollhouse that her father had built her, and this dollhouse was filled with dolls that her mother had made, and that was her only joy in life that they could tell. I mean, she was just, this illness rendered her pretty well unresponsive. When Lova passed away, her father had the dollhouse moved to mark her grave. That's what we're seeing here now. Obviously, this has been refurbished to some degree, and we're going to take a look at the inside of it. And it is designed with what would appear to be, I would say, replica period toys and things like that. And I'm going to be honest, there is a bit of an eerie feeling that you have when visiting this grave. But what had happened when she passed away, like I mentioned, her father moved this dollhouse to her grave. Well, the parents passed away in the mid-1940s, and they were buried in this cemetery. Lova was originally, for whatever reason, not buried here, and the caretaker actually moved the house and Lova's remains to this cemetery so she could rest with her parents. This is the first step in a two-part journey today. And the next cemetery that we're going to be visiting is just down the road a ways, and it's another dollhouse. I have seen videos and pictures and things of these dollhouse graves before, and there are different ones in different locations, but this is the first time that I have ever visited these. And I mean, it's a sad story, and most of my journeys I like to make it as upbeat as possible, visit the graves, look at the lives of those that I visit. Very hard to do so on this one, because it's just a sad story. I mean, it truly is. But this is part of the Indiana tour that I did, and we're going to take a look inside the window. And I'm between this one and the other grave that we're going to visit, I do try to take several shots and several angles of the inside and the outside, so you will see that. But again, visiting the grave here of Lova Klein in Arlington East Hill Cemetery. I think as a parent, my heart goes out to these families even more, because you know all they were wanting to do is just do something to take care of their children, do something that they thought would make them happy. I have seen pictures of these dollhouse graves before, and there's different ones, you know, throughout the United States, but when I found out that I was going to be this close to these particular ones, and these are really not that far apart, I wanted to pay a visit. and pay honor to the lives that were lost, and show you all some of the sights from the dollhouse graves in these particular cemeteries in Indiana. And the next step in our journey today takes us to Connorsville City Cemetery in Connorsville, Indiana, and this is just down the road a ways from the last cemetery that we visited. And here today, for this particular part of the journey, we're going to be visiting the grave of Vivian Allison, and once again, just another sad story. Vivian's father was building her this dollhouse as a Christmas present. She passed away in 1899, not long before Christmas, and she never got the chance to get this. So the parents, being heartbroken as they had every right to be, moved this to the cemetery to be her grave marker. And again, this is in Connorsville City Cemetery. She passed before she had the chance to see the dollhouse. This one again has obviously been refurbished, and you can see by one of the signs that we saw there, and I believe there's another one that's going to be coming up too that talks about it being refurbished. And apparently at one time this had been in almost a disrepair state, and you wouldn't think this, but unfortunately this one had a lot of vandals that I don't know what all they did to the house. But from what I read, the city of Connorsville and some of the residents there really just kind of took it upon themselves to save this as well as they should. And my hat's off to them for that, because that is something that needed to be saved. I mean, the story in and of itself is a part of history and a part of folklore, but I don't know. I never understood vandalism. It's just something that is, just makes no sense to me. But let's go ahead and take a look on the inside of here. And again, I don't know what it is about these toys and the way they're arranged. I mean, it does promote sadness. And again, both of these places, and I'm not a paranormal channel whatsoever. I didn't feel anything, didn't see anything paranormal. I'm not going to say there's not somewhat of an eerie feeling when looking in there and visiting these graves. And you can see that someone took a lot of effort on both of these really to create a period style decor on the inside of these, and just wanted to take a look on the inside, show you all what this looks like. And I try to go through every window. I believe I got all of them in here to try to get different views of what this looks like. But Vivian Allison passed away, like I mentioned, in 1899. And it amazes me, because I've said this before, I'd never seen any of these in person. And when I was in Indiana, I was looking around, and actually I've got to give some credit here to Ms. Whitdox, if you will, for helping me find this. So thank you for that. She was amazing on this trip, and without her, there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't have been able to get. So I appreciate that. But if you look here, you will see the old stove in the house there. But a lot of refurbishment that has happened on this, and I just can't help but think that both of these stories at heart are love stories. Not the traditional fairy tale love story, but just grieving parents doing their best to try to honor their child after death. And that this kind of stuff is not lost on me, because you look at this, and I guess you could have a tendency to be a little bit numb to things because this happened such a long time ago. But I'd never want to be that way, because there's no doubt these two graves, and I've said this in videos before, these graves, they really are the worst. They represent the worst day of someone's life. So I never want to grow cold to that fact. Also did take a wider shot here so you can see what the cemetery looked like in the background. But it was an honor to be able to visit the graves of Lova Klein and Vivian Allison. I do want to take a moment here and thank you all for watching, and sorry again that I was unable to get a video out last week, and sometimes that just happens, and the ice storm, no power, no water, it just made it too hard to be able to get anything together. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click subscribe and join me. I hope you enjoyed this journey. Most of my journeys I try to take, and I know I'm in a cemetery, but I try to pay honor to the lives of those that I visit. And this one is, some are just sadder than others, and this one was definitely one of those, due to the nature of the subjects and things that we were dealing with. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I do want to thank you all. I'm going to leave links in the description of where you can find me. Facebook, Instagram, merchandise, it's all there. So again, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and join me if you haven't. My channel 100% about cemeteries and paying respect to those that I visit. I will see you all again soon.